In last video, I tell you some information about what is Day Center Freeway means and what projects we have there. And now I'm gonna tell you about our orphan ministry. And on the next video, I will tell you about our camps projects. And video number 4, it will be a story about House of Hope. So please watch this. The second part of our work at orphans projects. Um, Now we have we visiting one orphanage near Kiev and 3 orphanages away from Kiev. Like a lot of orphanages here in Kiev, they have a lot of people who show up there, bring presents and gifts, and basically you can say that orphanages around Kiev are rich and kids have all this stuff. I don't know about relationships, but kids have all the stuff, and it's sometimes it's hard to show up there without gifts and just to try and build a relationship because kids used to have stuff and gifts. So we choose one orphanage, and we go there weekly, and we have really cool relationship with kids there, with director there. And last summer we was doing a summer camp in that village, and a lot of kids from orphanages was in that camp. And this summer, we already planned a new summer camp, and the director of the orphanage is really excited about us, and he's really open, and he gonna do whatever he can to help us to do a bigger camp this year. So that's a really cool time when we can show up there and spend time with kids every week, and kids became really open, and our volunteers have good relationship with kids, and through these relationships we can encourage them, we can help them, and we can just show them the God's love, because they have presents, they have toys, but they need more relationships and time together. So our plan is to bring them that relationships. One of the greatest goal of the trips to the orphanage, especially the far ones, is to connect local churches to the orphanages so they can be there for the kids there. And I start visiting 3 orphanages in Odessa and Nikolaevska Oblast, and we already find a couple of churches who's interested to be there every week, because that's how it's work. Like, kids need relationships, and it's hard to build really cool and productive relationships when you show up there only once a month. So my goal is to connect local church and orphanages and help them to build the system that will help kids to get normal life after they live in the orphanages. But local churches only they need resources. They need gasoline, they need time, they need cars sometimes. So we're working on providing the local churches with materials and money to be able to go there every week, and we can show up there once a month. And it's really cool when church can be have open doors to the orphanage, because it's a lot of different problems in the orphanages, and kids not always open to caregivers or to teachers, and then they really open to people who's really faithful with a friendship and a relationship with them, who's going there and not just show up to give a present, but they're there for them, to spend a time with them and to ask them questions and then hear their answers. So our goal is to make this real, to connect local churches and help them to be in an orphanage and around these kids. One of the biggest problem of kids in orphanages that from 106,000 kids in orphanages, only 6,000 kids have orphan status. That's the numbers from 2016-17, I think. The number didn't change, so pretty much less than 10% kids, they are really physically or orphans by papers. The rest of the kids, they have the same life in the orphanages. They have even less help or benefits from a government, but they have parents by paper. Sometimes parents don't give up their rights just because have some protection from government, and but kids live in orphanage for years and years and years, and kids like that, kids who don't have the orphan status by papers, they're not involved in any like hosting programs because they're not available to be adopted. They're not involved in scholarship programs because basically they have parents who are supposed to provide for them. So our goal is to help these kids to be able to do the same thing that normal kids can do, or kids with orphan status can do. We don't have like specific program for hosting these kind of kids without orphan status. We don't have scholarship program for them yet, but we are trying to figure out how to help these kids and how to help them to be successful, because sometimes they have even less than kids with orphan status. Like I said, they live in the same room, they have the same thing, but they don't get support from government when they leave the orphanages. They don't have scholarship when they go into the trading school or universities. So our goal is to set up programs that will allow these kids to be hosted, to be on a scholarship, and to be able to choose their own universities they want to go to find the gifts and talents that God put in them, and we wanna help them even more, because all the other projects is for kids with orphan status, and we're trying to help the kids who don't have, because it's like hundreds of thousands of them there.